Well, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be answering the question why data and analytics are important to a small business. But before I answer that question, let me give you some context here. I have been talking about data and analytics now for a while on my blogs, on videos, and on other platforms. And I've received a number of comments asking me if I would expand on that. What exactly do I mean by that? And so I thought I would answer the question here because it's going to benefit the maximum number of my audience. So before we get into the whole issue of why it's important, let me explain to you what I mean by data and analytics. I am talking about the information that you are gathering, and hopefully you're gathering, in your business on a daily basis regarding, for instance, your customers, the marketing you're doing, the sales data, the prospects that you might have in addition to your customers, your income and expenditure data. Now, some of this is going to be, depending on where you are in your business, it's going to be done either manually, but hopefully once you start to grow your business, you are going to see the value of establishing some sort of system so that it can be automated. So, for instance, customer and prospect data is often held in customer relations management systems such as MailChimp, Aweber, Infusionsoft, Kartra, many options there depending on your budgets, where you are in your business, etc. And similarly, your sales and revenue, marketing and other data can be included on systems like Infusionsoft, Kartra, etc., or income and expenditure data on automated systems such as Xero, Sage. So you get the idea. There's lots and lots of ways of either including that information manually or having it automated for your business. In terms of analytics, what I'm talking about here is that many of these systems will literally analyze that information for you, or you can do it yourself, so that you are using that information for your business. So let me give you an example. If many of you will have a Facebook business page, and if you look behind the page, what you're going to find is that Facebook provides you with lots of analytics about who has visited your page, the type of activity that they have conducted on the page. For instance, did they go to a particular blog? How many went to the blog? What percentage stayed and read it to the end, etc. So you might be asking yourself, okay, so there's data and there's analytics, but why is this important to me as a small business owner? Well, I can tell you that no business really makes decisions without, or make successful decisions, I should say, without good, solid data and analytics. If you look at the big boys, they will always be relying on solid data and analytics to make their decisions. And there's no different for a small business. You know, what we want to do is ensure that we are using in really good information available to us to make informed decisions about everything in our business. And this is highly underused by small business owners. There is so much available information to us that we collect without even realizing, but we're not using that in order to make those decisions in our business. What tends to happen is that we tend to take a very knee-jerk reaction to our decision making, often as entrepreneurs and small business owners. So let's take an example. First example, that you will have secured a large contract in your business, and often the knee-jerk reaction is to panic and think about taking on more staff. Well, that's of course going to be great while the contract period lasts, etc. But what happens when that contract ends? Have you got enough work to ensure that you can keep that additional member of staff or various members of staff that you might have recruited, depending on the size of the contract you've secured, in place. What you should be doing is, of course, looking at the data in terms of income, your revenue streams, your sales, your marketing, and that should be informing when you take on more staff and how long you might be able to sustain them in your business, rather than, as I say, this knee-jerk reaction. Another example is for the advertising. Many small business owners will panic and think that they're not getting the work that they need, and will think about advertising, and it's very stop-start, rather than looking at projecting your the sales and revenue that you want, which again is based on data, and then looking at that and deciding on how and when you should be advertising, how much you should be spending on advertising, and if you're going to be advertising, how you're going to know whether that advertising has been successful. And that can happen in many ways. You could do it manually. So if you were advertising, for instance, offline in newspapers, magazines, etc., you could create a metric for yourself whereby you decide, you will know what success looks like. So if for instance, I'm going to spend on advertising £100 this month, for that £100, I would expect to see revenue of X, and then you can measure them against your advertising spend. Alternatively, you might decide to do this online, and you may decide that you are going to advertise with, say, Facebook, an amount that you want to advertise in Facebook. You're going to decide what your likely return is going to be, and Facebook actually helps you because it tells you, what your spend is, what your return is at that point. So the analytics are being collected for you, but many people fail to use that information. So I hope I'm giving an idea of why data and analytics are so important in your business. They're there most of the time, or they need to be set up from the start so that you can use that information to make really informed judgments and decisions in your business. Okay, so if this answer has helped you, go ahead and share it with like-minded individuals, and I would particularly like to hear any comments that you have, whether you think I should expand on this even further, or if you've got any questions that come out as a result of this. I look forward to hearing from you and answering any further questions in due course.